What you are about to experience is out of this world. Politics, history, and of course, a lot of entertainment. It's time to rock it with the Docket.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here with our very 146th episode of the Dockery Docket. I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are excited to be here as well. And if you are excited to be here as well, make sure to go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so then you never miss one of my videos. So primary season is here, and at first I only made one video about it and then kind of ignored it because I know, you know, everyone knows that Donald Trump and Joe Biden are probably going to win the nominations for their parties. And in the Republican round, the candidates just didn't seem strong enough. Some of them didn't have good charisma. Others you knew right away when they announced that they were doing it to either sell a book or push their popularity. Now, things in the Republican Party are starting to get more interesting as there seems to be a split starting to form between the more classical conservatives who are extremely anti-Trump. People like Chris Christie, Asa Hutchinson, and Chris Sununu are all supporting a new candidate, Nikki Haley. And other Republicans, which some people will call the MAGA Republicans, like Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, Doug Burgum, and Tim Scott are all supporting President Donald Trump. The question is, how on earth did this split happen? How did Nikki Haley start to rise in the polls so much? Well, it has something to do with the media because they will do anything, even supporting a Republican in the primary, to make sure that Donald Trump doesn't win. And now when this whole Republican primary started, it looked like the media was going to stand behind Ron DeSantis to push Trump out of office. It seemed like Fox News was pushing for DeSantis hard. Then something changed. All of the media flipped and started supporting Nikki Haley. Now, this isn't the first time that the news media has done something like this. As I remember back in 2016 when Trump was just starting his run, the media pushed very hard for Jeb Bush. Everyone was claiming it was going to be Jeb Bush versus Hillary Clinton. Then he dropped out, and the media switched to Marco Rubio. Then they switched to Ted Cruz. They had anyone but Trump until the very end. This isn't old, and it is interesting how even Fox News does this. And even liberal news outlets will write articles right now claiming that Trump is super nervous as Nikki Haley rises in the polls when Trump is literally leading by 20 points. 20? Heck, right now it's more like 50 points. But why would the media want to do this? Why would they want to back a Republican like Nikki Haley? Well, because they want to create a divide in the Republican Party. And they also want anyone else but Donald Trump to be in the White House. For Democrats, a Nikki Haley presidency would be fine because she is just a part of the establishment. She is a George Bush. She is a Mitt Romney. She is a old school Republican. She wants to continue the wars in the Middle East. She wants people to use their real names on social media so then if you say something naughty, the government can come and arrest you. Along with that, she doesn't like it when people claim that people that cross the border illegally are illegals. But that's literally what they are. Now, we saw the media defending and helping Nikki Haley after the Iowa caucus. Now, the Iowa caucus was disappointing for everyone except for Donald Trump, as Trump won every single county except for one, which Nikki Haley won by a very small margin. Now, did Nikki Haley win this county because conservatives are liking Nikki Haley more? No, probably not, because there are reports right now that nearly half of the people that voted for Nikki Haley in Iowa would vote for Joe Biden in the general election. This is because Haley is getting support from Democrats and independents. And it also looked like first-time caucus goers were voting for Nikki Haley too. And this could mean that Democrats in Iowa were changing their voting registration to Republicans, voting for Nikki Haley, and then after the primary season, they switched back to the Democratic Party. And the Iowa caucus also showed where the media lies when it comes to Nikki Haley. As of all people and of all channels, MSNBC was supporting Nikki Haley a little bit. As at first, Joy Reid, who was an idiot, decided to talk about how terrible the people of Iowa were because they are straight white, and Christians, claiming that all Christians believe that Donald Trump in the White House will give them the country back. Just listen to this. She's absolutely ridiculous.
Evangelical white state. And he said the following to me: Iowa is about 61% white Christian. The country as a whole is approximately 41% white Christian. And in Iowa, we're talking about evangelical white Christians. And he said the following, because I asked him, what do they get out of supporting Donald Trump? Because he keeps losing, he keeps delivering losses and losses and losses. And he said the following: they see themselves as the rightful inheritors of this country, and Trump has promised to give it back to them. All the things that we think about electability, about, what are people gaming out, or none of that matters when you believe that God has given you this country, that it is yours, and that everyone who is not a white conservative Christian is a fraudulent American, is a less real American. Then you don't care about electability. You care about what.
Now, I will say she is stupid, and what she is saying is wrong. She also talked about how these evil white Americans didn't vote for people like Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley because they were brown. Listen, Vivek Ramaswamy started out with 0%. No one knew who this guy was before the primary, and now he's starting to rise in the polls and won 8% in Iowa, which was a huge feat even though he announced that he is dropping out of the race. He should be proud of what he has done. Then Joy Reid made this point about Nikki Haley, claiming once again that these evil white Americans don't like her because she is brown. Just take a listen to this.
New Hampshire. And I think to the point that you made, Steph, I mean, it's the elephant in the room. She's still a brown lady that's got to try to win in a party that is deeply anti-immigrant and which accepts the notion that you can say immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. She's getting, birthered by Donald Trump. And I don't care how much the donor class likes her, which will ramp up a lot the better she does in New Hampshire. So it's still a challenge. I don't see how she becomes the nominee of that party with Donald Trump still around. I can't picture it happening. Maybe it could happen. Ron DeSantis' only argument for staying in it is he's the white guy, that he can still make the appeal to white evangelists.
They are defending Nikki Haley in her battle against Trump, even though she was in third place, because she fits the Democratic narrative and quota. She is a woman. She is a person of color, so of course the left loves her. Even though if Nikki Haley would have won Iowa, Joy Reid and other people in the media would claim that Nikki Haley is a traitor to her race, and she is literally Hitler in high heels, as she is spewing the same exact opinions as Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. They do this with every single person that wins the Republican nomination, but they aren't scared of Nikki Haley because she is reminding a lot of people of Hillary Clinton. She is using the same Democratic playbook by saying things like she would be a great person for the role as president just because she is a woman. It is sad, though, to see Nikki Haley flip like she did, as she used to be a strong ally with Trump. But now that was all thrown away, and now she is begging for the Democratic support, especially in these different primaries, because she isn't just getting Democratic voters in Iowa, but she wants to do this in New Hampshire as well. As the Haley campaign is also pushing this strategy into New Hampshire, as she gained some anti-Trump Republican support from former New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu and General Don Bolduc, who ran for the Senate back in 2020, where he closely aligned himself with Trump, but then that changed, and he is now behind Nikki Haley. Then we get reports from the New Hampshire Secretary of State's office that claim that 4,000 Democratic voters switched affiliations to Republican or undecided ahead of this election. Is this because their thoughts changed, or is it because they wanted to vote for Nikki Haley and destroy Trump's chances at winning the White House again? Along with that, Nikki Haley is also getting support from a super PAC called Primary Pivot, which has been urging voters from the political center and center-left to vote for Nikki Haley in the primary as part of an effort to stop Donald Trump. The co-founder of this organization even claimed in a statement, "We believe Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy." You can see what they are doing here. These Democrats want Nikki Haley to be the nominee, but if she became the Republican nominee, they would dump her faster than a baby at an abortion clinic. And to me personally, there's absolutely no chance that Nikki Haley gets close to Donald Trump in any way in these different primaries. Because Donald Trump is also getting the support that he needs as well from different Republicans that dropped out of the presidential race, and we can see that Donald Trump is starting to assemble his team. As senators like Rand Paul decided to create a campaign called Never Nikki, where he made a video talking about how terrible Nikki Haley would be for this country. Along with that, there were candidates that dropped out that are also supporting Donald Trump. As on Sunday at 3 o'clock, Ron DeSantis decided that he was done and threw in the towel, even though he finished in second place in Iowa. I think he started to realize that it was over. The writing was on the wall. He had to step down. Now, DeSantis decided to run back to Donald Trump, and Trump officially decided to retire the name Ron DeSanctimonious. Tim Scott also dropped out a few months back, and he also endorsed Donald Trump, which rose rumors that he may be on the VP running list. Other people on that VP running list are Doug Burgum, who also dropped out and endorsed Donald Trump. Elise Stefanik right now is a very popular name, and she is aggressively campaigning for Donald Trump in New Hampshire. And last but not least, the most popular of them all, and who I think Donald Trump will pick as his VP, is Vivek Ramaswamy. That's right, Joy Reid, the guy that you claimed Republicans hated because he was brown, were chanting VP, VP at Trump's victory rally in Iowa. Speaking of Trump's victory speech in Iowa, as we have seen in this episode, Nikki Haley has all the media attention while Donald Trump has all the media hate. This was evident when Trump was giving his speech after winning Iowa. Trump made sure that it was a speech about uniting the Republican Party and making sure the party is ready to vote for Trump. Because guess what? More than likely, this primary is over. Rachel Maddow said this while Trump was giving that speech.
At this point in the evening, the projected winner of the Iowa caucuses has just started giving his victory speech. We will keep an eye on that as it happens. We will let you know if there's any news made in that speech, if there's anything noteworthy, something substantive and important. The reason I'm saying this is, of course, there is a reason that we and other news organizations have generally stopped giving an unfiltered live platform to remarks by former President Trump. It is not out of spite. It is not a decision that we relish. It is a decision that we regularly revisit. And honestly, earnestly, it is not an easy decision, but there is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things. That is a fundamental truth of our business and who we are. And so his remarks tonight will not air here live. We will monitor them and let you know about any news.
Oh yes, Rachel, you don't want there to be any misinformation on MSNBC, right? Just remember, this was the same person that pushed the Russia P-tape lie. She also pushed the idea that Donald Trump didn't pay anything in taxes, then got some of his tax returns, read them live on TV, and realized that Trump was actually paying taxes and looked like she was crying about it. It was absolutely hilarious. Along with that, MSNBC and other news organizations are spreading these different lies that somehow Trump is literally a terrible fascist dictator. These are all lies, but still the media runs with it. And now there are groups that are going to try and handicap Donald Trump from the very beginning of his second term as president if he wins the nomination. As according to Mary McCord, an executive director of the Institution for Constitutional Advocacy and Protection at Georgetown Law, said, "We're already starting to put together a team to think through the most dangerous types of things that he, meaning Donald Trump, might do so that we're ready to bring lawsuits if we have to." And then another person named Sky Perry, who is the president of Democracy Forward, also wrote, "We are preparing for litigation and preparing to use every tool in the toolbox that our democracy provides to provide the American people an ability to fight back." Along with that, she said, "We believe this is an existential moment for American democracy, and it's incumbent on everyone to do their part." All of this is just stupid. Even the title of this article is annoying, as it says a network of public interest groups and lawmakers nervous about former President Trump's potential return to power, quietly devising plans to foil any effort on his part to pressure the U.S. military to carry out his political agenda. They want to stop Trump so bad that they even want to do a military coup. Like, that is something that happens in third world countries. not the United States of America. They will do anything to stop Donald Trump. They will file every single lawsuit on the books against him. They will make him stay in court even though his mother-in-law passed away. They will kick him off ballots. They will claim that he will destroy democracy. There isn't anything else they can do, right? That's it. There's nothing else out there. They already claimed that he was an evil dictator. So what else can the media do to destroy Trump or make Trump look bad? Well, what if the media runs a ridiculous story that Trump somehow has syphilis? That's right, the sexually transmitted disease, which just goes perfect because it just showed up randomly after he was leaving the E.G. Carroll case where he was accused of raping a woman and now is liable for that rape, even though he has claimed over and over again that he doesn't know who this woman is. Now, this right here was the picture that took the internet by storm. As you can see, Trump is leaving, and he gives the camera a wave, and you can see red marks on his hands. What on earth is that? The media, especially MSNBC, the same media that claimed that they can't share any false information, was, well, of course, sharing false information. As on Morning Joe, they were arguing if the marks were magic marker, blood, or something that was inflicted by Trump because he apparently slammed his fist on the desk when he found out that he couldn't go and help his grieving wife as she lost her mother. A Democratic strategist named James Carville claimed, "They don't look like cuts to me. I think there's a good chance that this man has the clap." And then he claimed that he talked to a number of doctors who all came to the consensus that Trump has secondary syphilis. Guess we just have to trust the experts on that one. And isn't it funny how Democrats will run around and claim that Trump supporters are a bunch of conspiracy theorists as they run around and debate and think that Trump literally has an STD? Which, if Trump did have an STD, you would think that he would cover it up just a little bit. And we probably would have seen some signs beforehand because blisters like this just don't pop up out of nowhere. Now, I wish there was a simple explanation, but there are some theories on the marks on Donald Trump's hands. The first one is that they are golf blisters. A simple Google search landed me at this picture, which showed where most golf gloves start to wear and tear. This glove right here shows marks in the thumb and pointer finger area, right where Trump's quote-unquote syphilis was. Along with that, there are these golfing bandages that I found that cover, you guessed it, the finger and the thumb, right where Donald Trump's cuts were. I also had a conversation with a very close source. He's a golfing expert with big biceps. And he told me that it is either a golf blister or it is photoshopped. Now, when he mentioned photoshopped, I was curious. So I did some digging and discovered that the marks were not visible later that same exact day. This image right here was later that night, as Donald Trump was arriving at 40 Wall Street, also known as the Trump Building. No marks are on his hands. Then that same night, Donald Trump gave a campaign speech in New Hampshire. Once again, there are no marks on Donald Trump's hands. Now, with different conspiracy theories like this, I want you to go down into the comments and make your opinions known. Does Trump have syphilis? Are these golf cuts? Is it a marker? Or is it photoshopped? My guess is that they are golf blisters, and then maybe he put makeup on it to make them look less red, or they were photoshopped, which wouldn't surprise me either to make Donald Trump look bad. All of this goes to show just how much the media absolutely despises Donald Trump, and they will do anything to make him look bad. Instead of drawing a logical conclusion and saying, hey, the guy plays golf a lot, maybe they are just blisters from that. They instead go to syphilis. Trump in a speech mixed up Nancy Pelosi and Nikki Haley, and social media was exploding, claiming that Donald Trump has dementia while Joe Biden can't complete a simple sentence. I am tired of these different political games, and I am hoping soon that Nikki Haley will drop out so then we can try to unite the Republican Party and try to beat Joe Biden in November. The media won't help us, but we can see through their lies. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Dockery Docket. And until next time, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving, goodbye.